Hi, I'm Matt from the HMO Platform, and we help landlords across the UK get on course towards profitability, wealth and success in an ethical way using our next level HMO and co-living strategies. In this video, we're going to cover all about fire alarms in HMOs. Now, the LaCourse guide goes into a lot of detail about what type of fire system you need, but for HMOs, there are generally two things you need to be aware of. Now, the first one is the type of alarm system, and they're categorised from A through to F. But for HMOs, generally we only look at the category A and the category D. I'll come back to that. Also is the level of coverage. So the level of coverage is determined by LD1, LD2 or LD3. And again, I will come back to that. So first of all, the grading of the fire alarm. Now, a grade A system is one which is all singing and all dancing. It's the type of system you see in commercial buildings, in hotels, the one that has the call points, so the red buttons that you push in case of fire. And you will want to have those on every single landing, every single exit of the building as well. The grade A system has detectors that are interlinked, so if one goes off, they all go off, and that's exactly what you want to happen in case of fire. The system will also have a control panel, which means that the property is done into zones. So you can see exactly where the zone is on the fire panel when the alarm goes off. So as you can probably imagine, these systems are quite loud and they have to be 75 decibels at the bed head. Now, I'm not entirely sure how loud that is, but all I know is that you'd be putting your fingers in your ears pretty quickly. But if you've got your fire detector and your sounder in your bedroom, generally you'll have no issues. We always do that. Moving on to a grade D system. Now, a grade D system is the minimum that's required in an HMO. Now, this means that they're still interlinked, it's still going to be loud, but this time there's no fire panel and no zones. You might have a test switch to be able to test the system very easily, but that's about it. But if one goes off, they will all still go off. There are no call points with this, so the only reason it would go off is if there is a fire or there is too much heat in a property. Coming back to our detectors, there are two types of detector. There's a smoke detector and a heat detector. We put a smoke detector in most places, but in the kitchen or anywhere where there might be cooking, so if you've got a studio flat, you would put in a heat detector instead. Now, the second thing that we needed to be aware of is the coverage. So those three types of coverage are LD1 to LD3. That LD1 system is the all singing, all dancing system, where you've got detectors in the escape routes and every single livable room. Now, the LD2 level of coverage is where you have detectors in the escape routes and then in any high risk rooms, so like kitchens, for example. And then you've got the LD3, which is the least level of coverage, where you've only got the detectors in the escape routes. Now, in an HMO up to 4 stories, we only need to put in a grade D system with LD3 coverage, which actually you might think is quite low, but some councils have actually increased that requirement to be a grade A system. So look at your local council's requirements as well as the LaCourse guide. So if your HMO is 5 stories or above and is a big one, then you're definitely going to need to put in a grade A system with LD2 coverage. But again, your particular council may have upped that spec. Now, just to recap, we always put in a grade A system which is zoned, because we want to make sure that the tenants are safe, that if one goes off, they all go off. And yes, that grade A system will need testing once a week. It will need servicing once every 6 months, but it means that we are safe and the tenants will get out of that property in the case of a fire. Because you never know, a tenant may have had a really great night out on the town and then be slightly averse to waking up quickly. So the tenant will need that really loud alarm to make sure they get out of the property safely. So that's it for all about fire alarms and HMOs. If you like what you've heard today, then click subscribe down below, and then you can get all the updates about new videos, or you can wait and there'll be some recommended videos for you to watch next. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.